Shannon live. Because you don't know how it's going to turn out.
My kids empowered me to get out.
What's going on with this remote learning and in the midst of COVID?
Working for different elected officials, learning and understanding how to put the community first.
Hi, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Shannon. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I want to welcome my special co-host. Hello there, Mr. Haley Phillips. How are you?
How are you? I'm very good.
Yeah. Well, we're excited about our show tonight because we're going to talk about people with all this negative energy that's going on around the world today. And, you know, we got negative friends. We got negative everybody. Everybody want to be so negative about everything. So our special guest tonight is going to show us some ways and techniques of how do we handle this negative energy. And I want to bring her on at this time is Kara Nelson. She's an energy healer, author, speech therapist, TV director, you name it, she's everything. So, okay. So let's welcome her to the show, Miss Kara Nelson. Hi, Miss
Hello. Hi, everybody.
How are you?
I'm so good. This will be a fun show because I want it to be hands-on. We're not going to only talk about it. We're going to be about it.
Yes, because as you know, and Haley knows too, that, you know, now everything is so negative. You can't even talk to people. You can't step on their feet. You can't do anything, but everybody's all upset and miserable. And why do you think people just have such negative energy all the time?
Well, you know, some of it, there is a benefit to feeling negative. You're going to what? Look for a solution. You might want to buy something or have a service or a treatment. You might feel something is wrong with you and you might not want to climb up the ladder or be who you want to be. There are people who benefit from that, but I think it's just habit. You know, we're born in this world just as perfect as can be. But if you have certain things drummed into your head over decades, like, oh, money doesn't grow on trees, and oh, here she comes again, and there she talks that, you know, it's not purposeful. It's unconscious. People don't really realize the ramifications of they're actually hypnotizing us, brainwashing us.
Right.
From our beloved mothers and fathers and teachers. You ain't never going to be nothing. Why are you going there? I was told by a Catholic school nun that I wasn't the cream of the crop. So I was, Well,
you tell that nun right now tonight, you are the cream of the crop, and you look where you are today. I'm sure she's looking.
Thank you. Yes. No, people do. You know how people apologize at the end of life? Right. They're perfection at the beginning. They're perfection at the end because they're close to God. They're close to the purity of who they once were. Even, you know, I don't want to change topics, but that Emmett Till confession, that's an end of life. She couldn't hold it in anymore.
Right.
It takes a lot to hold stuff in, and we're going to talk about that later.
Right. Yeah. That's that guilt. It will kill you. It'll kill you.
Yes, and we're going to talk about that. That's one of the ways to deactivate negativity.
Yeah. Well, let's get into some of those 7 ways that you was talking about, because I want to make sure that when I leave here the show tonight, I know how to be. Well, I'm not negative anyway. You know, I try to be a positive person all the time, but you know, we all fall short at some point or whatever.
Yes.
Not intentionally to hurt anybody or anything, you know, like that. But sometimes we all step on someone's.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know, but it's how we come back and how we approach the person. So, what are some of the ways that you would tell us about, you know, being positive?
Well, number one, I'm going to highlight myself because I am the director of the show too today. Number one would be getting back to the simplicity of being yourself. So doing what your body needs, like giving it water, sleeping, eating foods that are alive. Sometimes you don't have to cook everything to death. And breathing. So you're going to, you know how when somebody needs to talk to you and they take you to the side because they don't want to, you know, it's something that they need to talk. You do that with yourself. You know, take yourself to the side Get off of the, stop watching TV, you stop watching the social media, and just feel what it feels like to breathe inside your body. And some people like to put their hands on their heart. So if you want to, you can put two hands on your heart and just make sure when you're breathing in, it's filling up the heart area and beyond. And take some nice deep breaths and just get back to you. You're taking yourself to the side, and everybody do that with me. You can breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, nice and slowly. And it really helps you to get back to what you really want to do that day instead of going into something else, what somebody else wants you to do. Now, some people like breathing slow, and I do work with business people if they're having an important business meeting and they're feeling some anxiety. One of my clients like the fast breathing. That's good too. You can. I really don't even care if it's to the nose or your mouth. Just breathe quickly. Do it the way to make, the reason why is there's so many benefits to taking a moment to breathe. And I'm going to tell you what they are. One is the brain, it gets the brain's attention. It gets the brain's attention because the brain is focused on preserving your life and making sure everything is running well. Oftentimes we're overtaxing the brain, so it has to like prioritize. Okay, so what's more important? Oh, all right. Where are we going to put the water? They didn't drink enough water. Where are we going to put it? Hey, Rebecca. Thank you. She says I'm the cream of the crop.
So then after we breathe, then what's the next one that we do?
I just want to say one more thing about breathing, and I know we're going to get through 7, is that it signals to the brain to release. The brain is a pharmacist. It's a pharmacy. And it will release the chemicals that it needs to release for free. You don't have to buy it. Good feeling chemicals and bad feeling chemicals, depending on what you're doing. And what do you think pulling yourself to the side and deep breathing or quick breathing, as long as you're in control, you're not reacting. What do you think that does to the brain? Does it signal to the brain to release good feeling chemicals and hormones like serotonin, endorphins, or the bad feeling like cortisol? If you're breathing, stopping to breathe, good or bad? What do you think?
I think good.
Good, absolutely.
The endorphins.
So let your free pharmacy work for you. All right. Number 2, let's see. There's so many I had to write them down. Number 2 is motion. You have to move it. So many things are great about moving. Moving, a yoga therapist told me, is lotion for the body, lotion for the joints. So motion is lotion, which is great for the body, but lotion is healing to your emotions. So motion has a lot of wonderful attributes. You know, when you're dancing, when you're walking, when you're moving, you feel good. Also, the body feels acknowledged. You're doing a lot of things at once. Blood circulates.
Right.
You're changing your environment usually. Usually when you're sitting on a chair watching TV, you don't sit there also and do your exercise. You're getting up and doing something different. So just realize that motion creates positive emotion. Motion also does the same thing to the brain. It makes that pharmacy produce good feeling hormones so that you don't stress. It literally takes away worry by releasing good feeling chemicals throughout the body, like serotonin and the endorphins. So do your motion, and it also gets you fit and makes you feel good. Right? If you don't use it, you lose it.
Right.
The reason why I'm talking about these simple things that you can do for yourself to deactivate negativity is because that's all you have control over. You don't have control over other people. You only have control over yourself. So take your power position and do what you can do to change your environment. If you are not feeling good in your environment, then look at yourself and change yourself. It's a signal to change yourself.
Right. Okay. Then the next big step
The next one I wrote is writing. Now, this is a good one, okay? Because everybody has a story to tell. Everybody has things that they don't want to talk about, that they want to keep secret. But the thing is, if something needs to get out, it needs to get out. And you don't have to show this to anybody. Just write it for yourself and write it in detail. Be specific. How did it make you feel? See, now you are the eagle looking at this big, beautiful novel or play that was part of your past. It's not where you're going. You're going someplace wherever you decide. But you
Mhm.
can write your past. You can write it because you're releasing it. You're not writing it to sit in it like a soup. You're writing it because you are writing it for the last time so that you
Mhm.
can move on from it. And one
Mhm.
of the things I like to do is write it and then put, you could mail it and it has no address on it. You can put address and address. You don't have to put, but just get it away from you. Right,
Mhm.
all the bad stuff, all the bad things people did to you and said to you, and even write the things that you did that you were not happy about, that you
Mhm.
feel shame or guilty about, because you have to get rid of that too. So
Mhm.
writing, and the thing about writing is it's connected to the rest of the body. So there's a purging because we store things in our body that unfortunately we store things that we don't like in our bodies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when we're doing the yoga and we stretch, all of a sudden there's a release. We don't release things that are good. We release the
Mhm.
bad stuff or the stuff that doesn't feel good.
So, do you think when we write, because I know sometimes when you write, particularly like when you write in a journal and you write things down that happen to you each day, and
Mhm.
you express your feelings in the writing, and it does make you feel better sometimes because it may be something you wanted to say to somebody and you didn't say it to them because sometimes people are they're so sensitive you can't say certain things to them. You got to walk on eggshells with them and stuff. So at least if you're writing it in like a journal or something, it's a way of saying what you had to say to the person but not saying it directly to the person.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the things I like to do, I wrote a lot of forgiveness letters during a fast I did about 20 years ago. I just thought of everybody I was just out of pocket with, not even on purpose. I was just going through stuff So I said, okay, my brother, and with certain people, I actually sent it to them. If I wanted them to know, I let other people. If I didn't know your address, or I just said, look, God, universe, and I put it in the mailbox, and it felt so good. And my
Mhm.
brother said, he opened it and said, what are you talking about? He didn't even know. But it was for me. See, it shows
Yeah,
you it was
right,
for me. He
right.
didn't know.
Yeah. Well,
So,
Haley, what do you think about being negative and writing things down?
But I think it's very helpful because you can release things in many different ways. Writing is I think is very helpful too because when you write, also like your feelings go into the writing. It goes into whatever you're writing. So I think that's very helpful. And you can say things that you don't want to say to the person in person. You know,
Mhm.
so I
Yeah,
think it's very helpful to do that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then your next one is
mhm,
also a great one. Your next
yeah,
one, technique.
thank you. I just want to say about the writing, don't hold on to the writing. I know people keep their journals, their books for here. I personally feel at some point, get to a place where you can let it go, whether you burn it, throw it in the garbage.
Oh, get rid of it.
Please don't let them pop because that energy, if you can look back on the past with love, just like a grandparent looks at a baby, fine, keep it. But if it triggers you to know that, oh, that stuff is in there, don't keep it because the whole
Mhm.
purpose was to let it go. Put it
Right.
someplace and let it go. So let it go. Let it go.
Mhm. Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Well, the next one is a good one.
All right. Well, some people say that you are the people that you're surrounded by,
That's
right?
true.
Or
That's true.
you're heavily influenced by the people that you're surrounded
That's
by. And
true.
they often say, check the five most influential people around you. Who's around you most of the time? And you know, when it's your family or people you've grown up with, sometimes you don't realize. But you realize what you're doing to compensate. Maybe you don't tell them everything you're doing because they're
Mhm.
always putting you down. Or maybe you don't, you just know who to talk to and who not to talk to if you don't want to hear that. Or you're so used to hearing it, you don't realize that it might have a negative effect on you.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
remember, I'm not going to say the family member, I was teaching aerobic exercise for a while in the Bronx, and one of my students asked me to have a retreat where we did exercise for the weekend. We talked about health and wellness. I loved it, and it was my first time. And a family member came with me, and they said, "Oh, you think you're so cute?" And my heart just sank because it was such a wonderful weekend, and we were having a good time. And like, what?
But you know, when family members or friends do things like that, because you just, you realize, and you have to learn to come to accept people being jealous over you. That's what it's all about, really, is the people being jealous over you, because you can work hard, work 18 and 20 hours a day to get what you want, and then when you get it, it's always somebody on the side talking about, well, you think you this, you think you that, well, you got it. Because if you was too lazy to work long hours and come back, then that's on you. But we have to take a short break. When we come back, I'll finish telling you what I feel. We'll be right back.
It's Shannon. It's Shannon.
People couldn't see my potential, so I had to show them.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
Today, I'm the CEO of my own company.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
Why are we not rethinking this?
I am more.
I'm more
than who I am on paper.
Hi, thank you for joining us. And today we are talking about negative energy with our special guest, Kara Nelson, and my co host, Haley Phillips. And I was saying as I went to break about people that you be around that has the negative attitude and responses. And to me, it just boils down to being jealous, because I know the next one we was going to be talking about was respond and not react. Because sometimes when you respond, I know we shouldn't react, but sometimes we do react because you're not believing that this person is saying what they're saying about you, because you don't expect that to come from them. But I think after some maturity and everything, you realize it won't bother you if you don't say anything or you don't respond to them. But then sometimes I think it's good for you to respond to them, to let you know how they feel. Because if you don't, then you will walk around with that in you, and that you'll walk around carrying that when you should release it on the person. You don't have to be nasty or anything like that, but you can be firm to let them know. Sometimes you do have to respond, and sometimes you do not have to respond.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, well, I know, like for me, sometimes in the past, I've found it kind of hard to accept that that person was negative, because sometimes you might admire that person, you might adore that person, and you kind of second guess yourself.
Yeah.
And you could feel it, but you're second guessing. You're saying like, no, that person can't be like that, and you really feel it, and then you find out later on. So how do you get past those second guessing yourself and seeing who that person is in reality?
Well, see, it's like, I think it's also like you were saying earlier, Carol, is that sometimes I think people is when they're negative, it's because they're miserable. Their life is not going the way they want the life to go. So they become miserable. So they want you to be miserable around them. So when we were talking about the people closest to you, sometimes you have to get rid of those people as well. Because Bishop Jake always remember what he said. He said you have to purge people every now and then. Get them out of your life. And he's absolutely right. Because first I was like, well, I can't get that person out of my life. But now I realize exactly what he needs. You feel so much better when you get that person out of your life, because then you don't have to deal with that nonsense and stress that they be trying to put in your life. Because you were like, well, I was all happy before. I was doing good. Now all of a sudden this person is trying to do me. Oh no, it feels good to get rid of them. Family,
but it's
family
true.
members.
It's true. That's why we're so unconscious about who's around us. If we check and we look to see this is not support, you just have to wean, maybe minimize your time. If it's family, you minimize your time with them. You pick and choose when you're going to see them, because if you're moving forward, you can't have something in your way. It's like a block in your way. And it is true. You have to, you cannot be the only person in the room that wants better for themselves, because they're going to want to pull you back. And it's not always that they want you to be miserable. It's, imagine if you have a cup filled with miserable. When they share it with you, they only have miserable to give. They're sharing themselves, and that's all they have. But regardless of where they are, you still have to play your position and be who you want to be. And you have to limit yourself with them. And you do have to purge sometimes.
Because the thing about it is sometimes it could help them to change their ways and their way of thinking when you really let them know you do not have to be bothered with them. Because the thing about it is sometimes people actually think you really need to be bothered with them. You don't need to be bothered with them. You are much happier without them, but they think that you actually need them. That's why they do a lot of things to you sometimes like that. But see, when you let people know you don't really need them, because like I say, I had family members that I had to purge, close family members. But when I did it at first, it hurt me because I felt like, why would I have to do this? And this is my close family. But then when I realized, like, enough is enough. I'm not going to let you keep doing stuff to me and taking advantage of me and stuff. So when I released it, I just felt so good. And I just say, God, you can handle it. I can't. You the one got the power to do it. I don't. Because if I do my power, you ain't going to like what I did. You're not supposed to be doing stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I just turned it over to him.
But sometimes you're pushed. Even, I'm on the softer side. And I let people, to the last point where I was like, Lord, it's like that. If you don't respond to the knock, the door will be taken down. That kind of, so if somebody starts treating you badly with some words, and then they're borrowing money and not paying back, and it just has to get to a certain point where usually I hear a statement. I'm going, wow, okay. They made it really clear it's time to move on. So I become very thankful for that. Thank you very much. If I was hesitant before, you just knocked me over to the other side. I'm ready to go. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
So how do we break the entanglement, as what you call it said when Jada said she was entangled at one point? How do we break that?
I make it a request. You ask God to do it, the universe, your higher power. You just say, listen, God, I ask you, if you don't use the word God, use your word for higher power, universe, source energy, Archangel Michael, Mother, Father, whatever you use. We are an international show. I ask you to cut all soul ties. And when I say that, the reason why you do that is because soul ties cause you to take on the baggage and the overwhelm of other people. It doesn't mean you stop loving them. It means you stop carrying their stuff for them. Everybody's responsible for their own stuff. So we're asking God to cut all soul ties, entanglements, cords, attachments between each and every one of us and all other humans, experiences, things, whatever it is, and all of those things in each and every one of us, and always, always. I thank you, God, and I send you my love. That's something that I do. Now, usually it's a process, but I'm going to say the prayer or say the request, and you can do the same thing too. And if you don't feel it right away, ask again. I do use a fan. Lottie said don't use the fan, but you would be surprised how.
See, well, take out your fan. Take out your fan so they can see your fan.
I'm clairsentient, so that means I can actually feel energy, meaning energy feels like goosebumps. Energy feels like, when somebody loves you and you hold their hands like, woo. Energy feels like, oh, you feel like you know something bad's going to have around the corner. That's energy. We all have that ability to sense it, but I can feel it in my hands. It has a feeling. Let's see what someone has to say. La, la, la. Bada, bada. How are you, Barbara from Harlem? So when I make a statement or prayer to ask for something to be removed, I use a fan because it helps to move the energy. It's like smoke. Think of it as smoke. You're clearing the smoke from away from you. And it really does work. See, the thing is, if you don't believe something, it's not going to work as strongly. I know it's happening because I can feel it. And I keep doing it until the smoke clears. So do that. Ask that God, Jesus, whoever you pray to, ask them to cut them for you. And then and anytime something is left from you, goes away from you, ask that the space that was created be filled with what supports your joy now. Supports your movement.
That part you say when we speak to, well, I say God because that's who I pray to.
Yes.
Jesus. But when you do that, and he does take care for you, you know when it's done, because you don't have that same feeling anymore.
Right, but it ain't done yet.
You don't have that guilt feeling. You know, like when you do have to cut somebody out, you have that guilt feeling like, did I do the right thing? Should I have done that?
Right.
You know, I don't want to hurt anyone. But then you don't have that feeling. So then that's when
that's how you know. So
I know he has removed it.
That's good. That is right. But I want you to be relentless. Just because you don't feel it removed the first time, don't take no for an answer, or don't take pain for an answer. You choose how you want to be on this earth, and you don't take anything else for an answer. See yourself just like a train going through the mountaintops, and it's not being bothered by those big old mountains. Those are the blocks that are facing us. It knows which way to go to get around those blocks. Right. Be like the train, and the people that are going to get on, they're going to be for you because they're going in your direction. The people ain't getting on the train. They ain't getting on the train. They don't want to go over there. Okay.
Well, that's my theme. Love train. That was my theme for my organization, is the love train, because you know I'm about love, taking care of people, caring, you know, doing things for other people and stuff like that. I just feel that that's what God put me here for, to help other people, because I've been doing that like all my life. Ever since I was a teenager kid, I was always doing something on the block for people, the elderly. That's what makes me happy, when I can do something for someone else. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not about me. It's about how I can help someone else. Because I feel that when God blesses you, you should be a blessing on someone else, because that's why he gave you the blessing. But then some people, you know, they want to take that away from you. Sometimes they want to take that away from you because they don't want to see you have joy. You know, like Shirley Stevens, this joy I have, the world didn't give it to me. No, you can be happy moving along, and next thing you know, somebody has to say something negative to try to knock you off track or whatever.
But that's okay.
Like, where's this coming from?
But that's okay, because if you are the train, if you have that much momentum, how powerful is one little person on the side of the road and that train going where it's supposed to be going? You allow your momentum to give you so much power, because the more you stay on the path that you want to be on, you feel your power. You feel like feel like Superman, Superwoman.
Right.
So I do want to say the last two things are respond, do not react. Because imagine if I was on that retreat when that person said, you think you're so cute. And if I got up and said, well, you think, you know, what if I got loud? I would have ruined my own retreat. So my response was just to look at the person and keep eating my food, and just I kept a question mark. That was an interesting question.
No, you should have said,
no, you cannot tell me what to do, because you are you and I am me.
Thank you.
And we were sitting, this was a dinner. We were sitting at dinner, and this was said during dinner, and it was just inappropriate for me to respond in that way to that person across the table with other people at the table. So I just understood where the person was coming from, and I didn't let it spoil my weekend, because it told me more about where she was than where I was. She just let the cat out of the bag. But anyway, the last one is, to focus on yourself. Why? Because when you focus on yourself and what you love to do, it takes worry away. Just imagine if you're carrying a ball, like a basketball of worry. Oh, because there's some people that are worried with, oh, this.
Right.
Oh, they're thinking about it all the time. But
Right.
when you want to focus on what you really want, don't you have to drop the ball to do that? You can't even hold it. And when you sustain doing something that you like, the brain sends those good feeling chemicals through the body, but you literally forget about the worries. You forget about what's bothering you. It really changes your energy, because it's very hard to be happy and sad at the same time, or enjoy that music, or enjoy that swim, enjoy that party, enjoy that vacation, enjoy that hug, enjoy that kiss, and still be worried.
Right.
We do it, but if we engage in what we want to do more of the time, it builds up that train momentum that we become unstoppable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, being focused is not that easy. It's not like real easy to stay focused, but you're so right in that you really have to stay focused on which direction you are going. Sometimes you have to detour along the way, but it's important to know which direction you are taking and take that direction, and stop letting people derail you from trying to get to where you need to get. Because sometimes, you either go around them or go through them, whichever one is better. No, I'm serious. Like, if I'm really focused on something and you get in my way, I mean, I'm gonna have to do what I have to do, because it's not about me letting you take away what it is that I want to do, particularly if it's something positive and I know it's going to help someone. I know it's going to
chill on that.
Exactly,
But they can't take away what's yours. If something is for you, that nobody can take that away. So don't go in there with that mindset that somebody could take something away from you. Just know that this is yours. This is mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we have different personalities. You can be more aggressive than I am, and I'm aggressive in a quieter way. So
I know I'm loud.
If it works for you, it works. Let me fix my glasses. If it works, it works. So there was a nice energy release there. Are we going to do an after show, or are we going to end? Because we're already over time, my sweet.
Oh, no. We have to. We at the end. We got to finish now. Okay. So that's it. Is that it? So,
yes, ma'am.
I hope we have got some energy release tonight. I have, and as Miss Nelson said, how we have to, release our energy, how we have to do with other people, how we deal with other people is very, very important. So I hope you will learn to do those techniques that she gave us tonight. So I want to thank you for joining us, and keep doing what you're doing. Thank you, Miss Nelson. Thank you, Mr. Phillips, for joining us as my co-host tonight. And make sure you continue to watch us every Tuesday night at 8:00. We're on Saturdays at 5:30 on Brick Arts Media, at 2:30 on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. So as always, we'll see you next time.
Today's show is sponsored by Abu's Bakery. If you have a sweet tooth, stop by Abu's Bakery for some delicious cakes and pies.
Would you like beautiful pictures for your home or your office? Then stop by Faith Art Gallery. They have a large selection of pictures from around the world.
It's Shannon. It's Shannon. It's Shannon. It's Shannon.